Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. This channel contains hundreds of different videos covering all manner of different patterns, techniques and styles of fly tying. There's something here to suit almost everybody, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so what I'm going to tie tonight is it's quite a complicated salmon fly. And it's in thunder and lightning colours, but like a prawn. Now, I had success this year with a pink version of this fly. So tonight we're going to tie the thunder prawn. So what I'm using for this is about an inch or slightly more than an inch of hot orange 3.2 outer, and I've got the liner in here. I'm just going to push that onto the needle, and I'm going to use black Textreme to tie this fly. So I'm going to slide it in between the two tubes there at that little angled cut that I've made, and then take the tying thread down to where the inner has flared here. So for the start of this, for the fly, I'm going to use some boar bristles that I've dyed in like a thunder and lightning colour. So you don't have this, you can just use either sort of fiery brown or orange or something in this thunder and lightning theme colour. So I'm going to take a bunch of those. And then what I'm going to do is, because I don't want them all flat ended, I'm going to pull a few out longer than the others, sort of just to misline it. I'm going to set that on so that it's probably twice the length of the tube that we're tying. And trim that off. So you can see this is sort of giving these feelers like a kick. So I'm going to put it, they don't compress, can pull out, so I'm just going to put a bit of super glue onto that and bind over it. So next what we want is to put in a little bit of flash, so for that I'm going to use some Mirage, Crinkle Mirage. So I'm going to lay a strand in that, not the full length of the feelers, about 3/4 length. Fold it over so that we now have 2 strands in, and cut that off. Then I want to support that with some bucktail, and for this I'm going to use a fiery brown bucktail. Now I can either use this bit here or the centre portion. I'm going to use the centre because it's a nice rich brown. It's also the center portion or back of a bucktail. This bit here tends to be nice, fine, tapered hair. So I'll take a bunch of that and add that in. Now I want that to be as well about 3/4 length. And I'm just going to splay it a little bit across the top of my tube and tie that in. So that is the sort of tail construct. So then we want to put in like a rear hackle. And for this I'm going to use some dyed blue guinea fowl. I'm going to use fairly big feathers out of this here. I'm going to put in 2. And that's just because of the size of this fly. If you suppose you were tying it smaller, you could get away with 1. So I'm going to find the tip, set the tip up on top there, fold it over, and then wrap that. Break that off. repeat with the other one. So tie the tip in again, fold it back, I'm just sort of going to double it as I wrap it by folding it over between finger and thumb. Flip that over and snap it off. So the idea is that we have these like prawn feelers. Now, I found when I was fishing the pink version of this fly, the back end there, when I left it into the current, because it's kind of flattened, it does sort of kick and wave in the water. I think that's quite enticing to the salmon. So next what we want is a golden pheasant breast feather, dyed orange, and I'm just going to set that up on top because we're trying to get that sort of prawn head shape to this fly. So you can see that sits up on top. So it's kind of along the lines of like a general practitioner, I suppose, but a little bit different. So for the eyes, I'm going to use golden pheasant tippet that is dyed a hot orange. So I'm taking a feather and what I'm doing is cutting the center out of it so that I end up with these two stripes. And I'm going to set that up so that it may be evident here that just the separation is just either side. So I'll just hold it down and then bind over this, take my thread backwards, and that'll give me the two bunches either side, and that'll sort of give the idea of eyes like on a GP. So I guess here's where we start to diverge on the GP type theme. So what I'm going to do is to create like plates on the back of the fly. I'm going to do that using Edge Bright or whatever it's called, but you can buy this stuff or you can buy pencil cases. So these sort of gel type pencil cases, if you look at it, are made out of Edge Bright. So what I've done is cut a strip out of it, and then I've cut a specific shape. So if you look at the shape here, I have, it's like a snowman but with a pointy end to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that on there, and I'm going to tie across this neck. Now the reason I created the neck is because if you left it the same thickness the whole way down, it would just wrap right around the shank of this thing. So it's going to sit up on top like that, and we just bind down back on that, and you can see it creates that prawn type head. I think it's called a carapace or something like that, I'm not 100% sure. So I want to get a little bit more flash in now, so I'm going to take my Mirage again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over so I've got two strands. I'm going to place them on the sides of the shrimp here and bind that down if it would let me. There we go. And then I'm going to fold that over to the far side and bind over that, and again, so these are like legs, I suppose, and then I'll cut these off to roughly the same length as the other one. So what I'm going to do now is do some body sections. So the first body section is going to be black, light bright. So I'm going to dub that on. And so that's taking up the space between these two bits here. Take a few wraps backwards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to use rubber legs. So for this I'm using these orange and black barred mini legs. Take one out of there. And the first, I'm going to put 3 sets on in total. So the first set is the longest, second set will be slightly shorter, next set obviously is a little bit shorter again. So turn across that and fold it back on itself, tie it in if you want. You could just get away with putting on several sets in the one section. It's up to yourself how particular you want to be in the tying of it. So same, bind that in, fold it back, a couple of wraps over it to hold it in place, cut that off, and then I'm going to wrap a golden pheasant breast feather that's dyed orange as well. And that's because I want to get longer hackles at the back, shorter hackles towards the front. So find the center, tie that in on top through of its center fibre there, tie across it, and then wrap. They're short, so you're only going to get 1.5 to 2 turns out of that. Tie it down, and then what we want to do is take this section of the pencil case or the light bright and fold it over, and you can see it'll hold the hackle down and create this sort of sectional back to the fly. So as we move on, we're going to continue to do these, but what I'm going to do, I've cut them now into like teardrop shapes, so we'll tie them in and fold them over. So I'm going to tie the next one in. And for this section I'm going to use gold light bright. Take that up to the front, come to the back again, and as I said here we'll tie in the legs again on the side, but that they're not just as long as the previous set. You can take this under or over or whatever way works best for yourself and tie it in on the far side. Measure it back, trim it off. And now I'm going to use a orange badger cape. So I'm just going to take a large feather first of all. Double it, tie it by its tip, fold it over, and get a turn or two. Now, what I found is that putting the hackle on like this after the rubber legs helps to control the rubber legs better, rather than putting the hackle on and then the rubber legs, as they tend to kick out a little bit. So tie that in, take your section and fold it over, and with this I'm just going to bind over that. Then go again, get a smaller bit, tie it in, gold dubbing again, dub the body section, rubber legs. Let's say this set is slightly shorter than the one before. Set it on the side, tie it in. I'll take this across the top, tie it back, and again trim that off. And then we'll take a smaller feather off this cape. This one's a bit more spiky. Double it over and tie it in. So basically the number of sections you do depends on the size of the fly that you're tying. And I also tied this in the pink version. I tied it on like a Sean Stanton conical brass tube, just for the extra weight and heavy water to get it down, and it worked just as well on that. Tie that in, tie it off, and fold that back. Turn across that, and then finish off. To set the fly, I'm going to put one of these, a copper cone on this here, but you could use whatever suited yourself. You want to use anything gold, black, hot orange. I'm just going to put some super glue gel over the what's essentially the head. So that if you were tying on a brass or a weighted tube, you wouldn't necessarily need to do this section at all. You could just finish a head. So I'm just going to set that on and push the cone up into that glued section, and that is the fly tied. So what I need to do is to cut off this. So I'm going to take it off, trim that, and flame. Just make sure the hole is patent, and that is our thunder prawn tied. So as you can see, it has quite a flat profile, but lots of rubber, lots of movement in there. The edge bright shines up as well. The boar bristles help to kick and move the fly, and as I said, in the water it tends to have this undulating motion. So hopefully you liked what you've seen. It's slightly longer than the usual video, I know, but hopefully you don't mind that. So hopefully you like it. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, check out all the other videos on the channel. And until next time, tight lines. And thanks for watching.